Welcome to Chapter 12. Today we're going to learn about Part 1, which is area. So the area of a figure is the amount of surface covered by the figure. So the black line here is the figure or the shape, and the area is all of the green inside. To write it, remember that we have to put this little 2 above, and we call that squared. So this would be a square centimeter, or centimeters squared. Let's look at the word length and the word width. I would like you to copy them into your math notebook. The length is the longer side of a rectangle. The width is usually the shorter side of a rectangle. So now let's think about how to use all of the things that we know. We know that the area of a rectangle is looking for all of the inside of this rectangle. If we imagine that we put little squares inside, we have a 3 by 5 rectangle. And remember when we said that this little 2 here is a square? You say centimeters squared or square centimeters. That comes from imagining these little squares inside the rectangle. We count up each little square. Each square is worth 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. So this is a 1 centimeter square. It's a 1 square centimeter. So we have 1 square centimeter, 2 square centimeter, 3 square centimeters, for a total of 15 square centimeters. We can count them all up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 centimeters squared. 15 centimeters squared is that. Okay. Another way that we can look at this and do it is by multiplication. We can, that an array of 3 by 5 is the same as 5 times 3, which equals 15 centimeters squared. The two ways that we can talk about how to find the area of a rectangle is we can either imagine the squares inside and count all of those squares to get us the square centimeters, or we can multiply like array the width times the length to get the centimeters squared by multiplying. Let's try this one. Please try to do this one by yourself. We see that there are 2 feet by 8 feet. So we have array, and we can do the length is 8, and the width is 2. 2 times 8 is 16 feet squared, or square feet. 16 square feet. Did you find the other way to do this work? The other way that's not multiplying is to imagine the square. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns for the length. And then we'll make 2 rows for the width. 1, 2 rows. And if we count them all up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 feet squared, it's the same as when we multiplied. Now it's your turn to try these. You can use either method, either drawing in the squares or multiplying like we would in array. Please do number 6 right now. The answer to number 6 is 3 times 7. 3 times 7, right? And we get 21 inches squared. 21 square inches. Please do number 7 right now. and we'll get 16 miles squared. That would be the same as if we drew in the little squares and counted them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Both of these ways get us to 16 miles squared. Please do number 8. Number 8, as you can guess, is 9 times 2, or 18 feet squared, or 18 square feet. Please do number 9 by yourself right now. How do you find it? It's 6 times 6, which is 36 yards squared. 36 square yards. Let's do a word problem. Janelle, that's a girl, painted a square on her bedroom wall. The width of the square was 4 feet. What was the area of the painted part of the wall? What was the area of the painted part of the wall? So we need to draw a picture to begin with, right? So we know it says painted a square, so we know we have a square where all sides are the same. So the width is 4 feet. What do we know about the length then? What do we know about this side? We know that it is also 4 feet. And the area is the width times the length. So the painted part of the wall is 16 square feet. The painted part of the wall is 16 square feet. But what happens when we don't have a rectangle where the little tiny squares fit perfectly inside? Then we need to estimate the area of the figure. And to estimate, we are not going to multiply. We're just going to count the squares. So let's start with this rule right here. Let's start with all of the shaded squares. So here, 1, 2, 3, 11, 12. Those ones are all completely inside this triangle. So that means that there are 12, and so we're going to count them all as 1. Okay? So we have 12 complete. Now we're going to look at the ones that are filled in halfway. This is filled in halfway. Halfway, only half of that is of that. 6, 7, 8. And put in 8 are half filled in. And if we imagine, we can put number 1 and number 2. If we move number 1 over here, then we'll have a complete square, completely colored in. So let's count this. This is 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes, and 4 holes. So 8 halves is the same as 4 holes. The next step is to look to, do we have any that are filled in almost? No. Okay. And if we have any that are filled in just a little bit? Nope, we don't have any that are filled in just a little bit. So from there, we're going to look at 12 and 4. We're going to add them together, and we have 16. So the estimate, is 16 squared. Now let's look at the circle. We're going to count full square units first. We're going to check to see how many completely filled in units we have. 3, 4 that are completely filled in. 4 complete units. The next one is looking at which ones are halfway filled in. And if we look here, none of them are perfectly halfway filled in. So we're not going to put anything there. Next, we're going to look at something that's more than halfway. This is more than halfway, Okay, so we have 8 units that are more than halfway filled in. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to put them here. And since we're estimating, remember, we're going to count that as full units. Full units. Any that are less than half, remember we're estimating, we're just going to count it as 0. So right here, it's less than halfway filled in, so we're not going to count it at all. Less than halfway filled in, we're not going to count it. Not going to count it, and not going to count it, because they're less than halfway filled in. So then, what we need to do is we come back over here. We have 4 holes and 8 almost holes, but we're both counting them as holes since we're estimating. So we have 4 plus 8 is 12. This circle, the estimate, is 12 squares. Please try this one on your own to estimate the area of each figure. So the first thing we need to do is count the full ones. We have 9 full. Then we're going to count the ones that are halfway filled in. I don't see any that are halfway filled in. This one is almost halfway, but it doesn't quite get halfway. It's a little bit more than halfway. So we don't have any of those. And then we're going to count the ones that are almost completely full. Then finally, we are going to cross out and not count the ones that are a little bit full. So we're just not even going to count that one, and we're not going to count that one. And as you can see, I have 1 square left that I did not count at all. So I need to decide which category it goes in. And I know that it is completely filled in, so I'm going to add it to the filled in chart. Okay, so now I have 10 complete, and I have 4 that are almost complete. So my total is 14 squares. My estimate total is 14 squares.